Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC. Welcome to Cupid. This is a visual novel I saw on Steam. Looked kind of interesting, especially considering we kind of got a Phantom of the Opera vibe going on with the one guy in the corner. And I do like the Phantom of the Opera, so why not? Let's give it a shot. I love you. Wow, that was quick. Okay, walk away, done. We're done. That was the quickest romance ever. I love you, I love you, I love you. There's no need to explain, it's only natural. You sure it's not gas? A mother loves her daughter more than anything else in the world. Oh, okay. It's motherly affection, not romantic affection. He hates you, doesn't he? The whole lot of them despise you, don't they? Oh, okay, we got an overprotective mom in this case, it seems. Chasing you into the forest and gouging a hole into your leg. Well, okay, yes, if guys are doing that, then yeah, you have reason to be overprotective. All because you smiled at their husbands. Oh! It was a bunch of women. That makes even more sense. Women can be very jealous bitches, just saying. And you know what? You deserve it. What? Well, I guess it is an overprotective mommy. I guess it's a very angry mommy. You freak. Oh, good. She's ashamed of her kid. That's even better. Disgusting, horrible, filthy little girl. By the way, there was a mature filter option on this. I chose to make sure that that's on, just to make sure that there isn't anything that I have to censor later. Didn't I tell you to stay away from them? You never listen. Serves you right for being the dirty girl you are. If she just looked at them, is that considered dirty? But then again, in the past, just seeing a little bit of ankle was scandalous. Now, girls show everything! But you don't have to worry, my darling. It's alright. Even if the whole world wishes you dead, I promise you this. Your mother will always be by your side. My goodness, child, whatever has happened to you? A girl was slumped in the doorway, soaked by the rain. Aw, she looks very sad. The art style looks really nice, by the way. Her legs were covered in dirt and blood. She lifted her head upon hearing the priest's voice and stared at him with blank eyes. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. She hobbled forwards, her bloodied leg giving away. I guess this is the girl. Automatically, the priest rushed forward to steady her. Years of spiritual training had prepared him for the most unexpected guests to his church. He sprung into action. He ushered her to a pew, brought out some clean cloth and antiseptic, and began to bandage the wound on her leg. Aw, what a good man. Yet, throughout all this, he found that he couldn't take his eyes off her. He would be gazing at the roll of bandages in his hand, deciding how to tie them, and out of nowhere, he would be staring into her eyes. Even with all the mud and grime smeared across her face, you couldn't deny that she was absolutely beautiful. I don't know, I have a hard time seeing it through the shadows. How old was she? 20? 18? 16? Obviously very young, considering this is probably a day and age where people didn't live very long. Her face was so young. The priest had long since aged past his desire for the opposite sex, but somehow something about her enraptured him. Maybe she's a witch. That might explain why her mom called her a freak. And technically, the priest really shouldn't be, oogling any girls anyway. He is a man of the Lord. He is not supposed to divulge in that, right? Doesn't stop the Catholic Church, but I digress. When he realized his own thoughts, he quickly steered his mind towards other matters. My child, what happened to you? She seemed to take all the time in the world before responding. He looked at me. Looked? He looked at me and he touched me. And then he started to kiss me. At first, the priest didn't understand. Then he realized, with a jolt of anger, what she meant. It was happening more and more often nowadays. I guess somebody sexually harassed her, but she got blamed for it. The young men of France these days are spirited, uncontrollable ruffians. A lady walking home by herself one night would be prey to a few number of them. Lust. one of the 7 deadly sins. Dude, I called it. The one that the priest personally despised the most. Furrowing his brow in sorrow, the priest laid a hand on her thigh. You are safe now, child. God's house is a sanctuary for the faithful. I don't think he'll protect me. He looked at her in confusion. You see, Father, I have sinned again. Right there among the pews before the altar of God, she bowed her head. I'm sorry. Was she apologizing to him or to someone else? Maybe she's apologizing to both. Her hair hid her face and her eyes, and the priest could make neither head nor tail of her. Really, her hair was rather short. I think you'd be able to see her face fairly easily, if it wasn't for the shadow. He suddenly realized that his hand was still on her thigh, and he hurriedly drew it away. I'm sorry. She repeated this phrase over and over. After a while, the priest got up. Don't fret, child. You are not to blame. I will contact the local constable, but in the meantime, you are free to make yourself at home here. I will fetch you a hot drink. He patted her head and left her to go to the back room. She remained seated on the pew, her head bent forward. As the priest's footsteps faded away, the entire church fell into silence. Yeah, it did. The music stopped. That's kind of creepy. Okay, do I click again? Now that it was the dead of night, the clouds covered the sky. Barely a sliver of moonlight filtered through the stained glass. The girl sat alone in a ring of darkness. ... Is that her or somebody else that's spying on her? She opened her mouth. No, I know. If I may say my piece, surely. Yes, mother. But he is so very kind. Oh, am I talking... is she talking to her mother in her mind? Is it her mother is actually a witch? Ooh, this is weird. Okay, let's say, I fear for your safety. Child follows mother's words and leave. You saw a look in his eyes, didn't you? You cannot stay here. Even a man of God can stain you with the filthiest colors. Are you saying the priest would sexually harass her? He openly said he didn't... Well, he was surprised that he was showing any interest in her, but I don't know. Be a good girl and follow mother's words. Mother knows best. But it's cold outside, Mother. The rain has not let up. Can't I stay? Well, all right. I suppose you can. But you must be wary of everyone in this church, do you understand? You are so weak, my darling. You give my heart so much pain. I'm sorry, Mother. I will try my best to stay out of trouble. How am I going to mind you like this? You attract so much misfortune everywhere you go. My poor child. My poor stupid blue. Okay. This is kind of going into the BioWare thing where it's like I say one thing, but the text says, or the voice says another. My stupid little girl. Always a blight, aren't you? Whatever will you do without me? I'm sorry, Mother. Thank you for always guiding me. Is this going to be some twist where it's like she's actually crazy and her mother isn't real? She's just talking to the voices in her head. It's all my fault. The girl sat in silence. Mother was right after all. She was always right. Everything was her fault. Her fist shook with a mixture of fear and conviction. She had to do penance. Mother, give me strength. There's something I wish to do. The girl rose from the pew. In front of her was the altar, and on top of the altar was an ornately decorated cross. It was as wide as her head, and the tip of the cross had been crafted such that it was razor sharp. She left the pew, knelt briefly, and then walked over to the altar. Don't tell me. You're quite sure you're doing this? The girl's arm trembled ever so slightly. What other way is there for me to atone? She picked up the cross. Oh, my darling daughter, Mother is proud of you. Slowly she brought the sharp end close to her face. Oh, this is a twist on crucifixion if I ever saw one. so close that it hovered just above her left eye. And then she... Chapter 1. The Star and the Rose. A scruffy young girl in tattered clothes peeked through the open gates of Chateau de Semel. And as you can see, her eye is covered up, so I'm guessing she stabbed her eye out. She pulled an Oedipus. An afternoon gothic was being held in its gardens. Apologies if I butcher the French. People from high-class estates strolled around the manicured gardens while chatting loudly with one another. There were beautiful ladies clad in silk and velvet, their necks adorned with pearls and jewels. A variety of foods was displayed on the tables. The girl stared at the food. She hadn't eaten properly for the past few days. What, the church doesn't provide her with anything, or did she just stay for the night? Are you hungry, child, my dear? Yes, mother. Rose girl. God forbid you give her a real name. Maybe her real name's Rose, you never know. Don't you worry, Mother will provide. You do not need those high-class foods anyway. They will upset your stomach. Now we've stayed long enough, let us leave. Surely we can look around for a bit. It's still a little early. There was something else that called to her other than the party itself. She walked to and fro from the gates, peeking at the crowd despite the urgings of her mother to leave. Just a tiny glance would be enough. The girl smiled at the thought of him. The owner of the chateau, the Marquis de Gueux. Oh, well, no wonder she got in trouble, I guess. She's got an interesting thing in a marquis. The girl was drawn to him. He wasn't the same as other people. He seemed different somehow. He was kind to her and would always hand her food when she delivered flowers. Her heart felt at ease with him. I do not care for him? But I wish you would stop ogling some man like a common whore. Ooh, nice, Mother. I just want to see him, Mother. What for? What good does his presence do you? He makes me feel that there are still good people in the world, Mother. It is hard to say, of course, dear. We do not know the real intentions people have. One can hope that real charity exists, but even good people will always put their needs first. Even your precious Marquis. Don't you think I'm a good person, Mother? Of course, child, you are special. Haven't I raised you as such? I have tried my best, my dearest. Yes, Mother, you keep me right. I love you. The girl stared at her shoes and looked around for a bit, hoping for just a glance before she left. And there he was. There was no harm in looking, she reasoned. She would never enter the Marquis's world. Let her heart be filled with hope. He turned his eyes in her direction. Did he smile at her? The girl's heart stopped. Did he recognize her? She beamed. My, is this creature deaf as well as dumb? It might be, poor thing. Mademoiselle! A voice called to the Rose Girl. She gasped. It seemed that somebody else had noticed her presence. She turned to leave. No, no, my dear, poor little creature, don't run away. Charlotte, she stinks, don't touch her. Came to crash the party, little urchin, you hungry? Her stomach gave a low grumble. She was always hungry, it seemed, no matter how much or how little she ate. Encouraged by the kindness the Marquis had shown her, the girl approached the women. She teetered towards their table. What are you selling? Look at this poor creature. Is she selling roses? Those are all ugly ones. But not as appalling as the rags she is covering herself in. Are you trying your best to be this repulsive? Now don't be mean, Antoinette. Lest you lose your head lightly. Perhaps it's the common of fashion nowadays. They laughed while gawking at her and her wares. Even trying to be kind of nice, they are mean. Oh my, she only has one eye. Ghastly, but I can't look away. The other lady nodded her head. Like a sideshow attraction, you mean? The freaks at the carnivals! She's darling in her own dirty, monstrous way. I'm not a stray dog, I'm a person! My Maybe we can keep it. I am losing track of these voices for just 3 ladies, but wow. Again, I'm not a stray dog. Hello, do you want some bread, urchin? Well, speak up. Maybe a tongue is shorn. Add that to the list of her sterling qualities. Quiet, Antoinette. Come on, don't be shy. It's kind of hard not to when everybody's basically judging me like this. Do you want some food? Let us hear you speak. Yes, madam. What? Yes, madam, I would be grateful. One of the ladies clapped in mockery at her reply. Oh, she talks! The ladies handed her the bread, but was snatched away just before her fingers grazed it. Not before you dance for us first. I am not a trained monkey! Come on! Oh, make it do a handstand. I've seen one of those street people do that. Quite marvelous. Now that I'd like to see. This party is getting quite boring. Well, come on, my pate. Dance for your food. The girl looked at the beautiful, cruel faces of the women. That look on them. It was a burning desire to hurt something, simply because they could. She knew that look. Before they touched her and hurt her, they had that look burning in their eyes. Aw, look what she did, Claudette. She's shivering like a leaf, poor thing. The lady was laughing as she said those words. I didn't do anything. She should be grateful we're even offering her this much. Besides, those commoners are supposed to be jolly in their misery. This isn't like Annie or Oliver or any of those other ones like Mary Poppins or something. These people are starving. Come on, girl, show us your joy. The girl moved away as they laughed. Mother, please save me. Mother. Haven't I taught you this time and again? People are cruel. Now you see it firsthand. Hey there. Oh, hi. A child's voice called out from behind her. You have interesting hair. It's pink and curly. It belonged to a girl around 7 with chubby cheeks and a look of curiosity in her eyes. I don't know, she looks older than 7 to me, but what do I know? She wore an old blue dress, somewhat patched at the corners, but kept clean and tidy. She was not rich, but she had an air as if she owned the ground she stood on. Ooh, another commoner. This party is absolutely teeming with them. The Marquis loves these things. Excuse me. Heard he picks them randomly from the street. Maybe I should get me one too. Do you think it's fashionable abroad in his birth country, I mean? Persia? No, I heard he was from India. I heard a rumor that he's a bastard son of a Greek queen. Goodness, this is so far-fetched. I could barely pronounce his name, though. He really should change it to something more acceptable. Basically cater to my needs, of course. Who knows what kind of demons you might attract with such a blasphemous name? You're one of those kind of hypocritical religious people who will, go to church every Sunday and then cut you off in the parking lot after Sunday Mass. Aha, it must be why all these nasty horrid little creatures flock around him. Oh. Devil or not, I'll forgive him if he kisses my hand. The ladies laughed. Salop, aren't you shameless? Don't lie, we all know why we're here. The ladies gossiped among themselves, openly ignoring the girl. The young girl took the slighting with a shrug. She approached the table and asserted her presence. What you do? What? Goodness, they don't take a hint, do they? Found something shiny, it might distract them. Hey, you've been holding that bread for a long time. Aren't you gonna give it to her? She pointed at the shabby rose vendor. Why do you care? Do you want the bread for yourself? I bet she's hungry too. I know, maybe you should toast the bread and see if they'll fight for it. The ladies laughed to themselves. The girl stared at them with confusion, her brows furrowed in a childlike understanding. Next thing everyone knew, she had swiped the bread from the woman's hand. Oh my! How rude! Horrible, filthy girl, give that back! The girl sniffed the piece of bread and nibbled at the surface. Yummy! It's still warm! She shoved the bread in the urchin's face. The scrumptious scent of bread flooded the rose girl's nose. Look at the sugared bread, tastes good! No, you devil child, give that back! The urchin licked it, Her tongue was coated in sweetness. She stood there, squeezing the taste in her tongue. The girl grinned at her, and she couldn't help but grin back. Sorry, here you go, it's all yours. Ugh, disgusting. Like we're going to eat anything that's been in your filthy mouths. Wow, so this is ours now? You ladies are so nice. Cheeky little brat, I'll have you thrown out of this party. I'll have you. Oh, hi. A young man strode to the commotion. A sweet scent lingered as he passed. He's kinda cute. The Rose Girl felt her mouth well up. I guess that's the marquee she's got her eyes on. His presence filled her body almost as if her hunger was abated. She blushed furiously. What a strange effect he had. Ladies? Oh, Sir Guillaume. Guillemay, or whatever your name is. Guillemay, I guess. I just came to check in on my esteemed guests. Is everything alright? Are you enjoying yourselves? One of the ladies started fanning herself with obvious annoyance. Ah, these little beasts have been harassing us. Yes, my lord. We were just minding our own business when this girl swiped the food off our table. Ah, my little nits! The girl stuck out her tongue at them. A lady wiped her eyes in mock tears. Oh, so dramatic. See? Look at that. It's absolutely monstrous that these children act around adults now. There's no respect, Miss Sir. I worry for the next generation. Oh, Charlotte, don't cry. Well, my lord, we will all breathe a little easy if those children were sent on their way. Yes, who knows what kind of mischief they might be up to. They might set fire to the tables, you see. Wow. Oh? I'll steal our jewelry. In fact, I think my pocket watch is missing. No, how unfortunate. One of the ladies continued her childish wailing. It is, Miss Sir. It's unfortunate how you allow your important guests to be treated this way. Please deal with these vermin. Throw them out now. Oh, my sweet ladies, I'm stricken with grief at your misfortunes. Allow me to offer my heartfelt apologies. Unfortunately, the child is my important guest today, and you are, sad to say, paltry squatters. Excuse me? Madame Charlotte of Montpellier, I don't remember sending you an invite. Save for you, Lady Antoinette of Rennes and Lady Claudette of Lyon. Most people I invited are huge patrons of music. That is why they are here today. They came to listen to Mademoiselle Catherine Louis Parade. She is the 7-year-old piano prodigy who played for the Queen last summer. The man pointed at the girl busy chewing her half of the bread. Oh, so she really is kind of royalty. The Rose Girl just stared at the unfolding situation. Well, that's... I'm sure you were aware of that, were you not? I'm guessing not. They were probably just here to try and get in his pants. No matter, I'm always happy to see you, ladies. It's my pleasure to have you here. But I hope you don't mind giving some of the food away to my townspeople. That is why I keep my gates open. My servers are instructed to serve anyone who passes by, not just my guests. But... don't you fret, my darlings. There's plenty more to be served. The ladies blushed in embarrassment. One of them began to fan herself even faster. Excuse me. The Marquis walked up to the two girls. The Rose Girl's heart beat so fast it made her head feel light and dizzy. She had never been this close to him. It made her feel a mixture of fear and elation. Lady Catherine, your father has been looking for you. It's almost time for your performance. The girl looked up at the Marquis and did a little curtsy. My apologies, sire. I didn't mean to cause a clatter. Guillerme chuckled. I saw the whole thing, ma chérie. You put those ladies in their place. They were being mean to her. Guillerme narrowed his eyes at the quiet girl. She hid behind her basket of roses. She couldn't look at him directly. He was like the sun. It hurt just to be in his presence. Yet there was relief in her heart as he stepped closer to her. I've seen you before, haven't I? The Rose Girl nodded and made a curtsy. I deliver roses to your house sometimes, sire. Yes, the girl with the sweetest face. The Rose Girl blushed. I love your roses, by the way. They stay fresh longer than they should. You've tended to them with love. Thank you, sire. Do you have a name, young lady? What's the matter? It's all right, young lady, if you would rather. Let's call her Rosa. Who? Rosa, it fits her. I think she forgot her name where she lost it. The Marquis nodded wisely. A valid point. Are you all right with that, Rosa? Yes. He probably could have called her Mud and she would have liked it, just saying. Come on, Rosa, you'll watch me play, right? Her eyes darted from the girl to the Marquis. Oh, Sir Gilly doesn't mind. Gilly? He's really nice to me and my family. And he helps me, the people around town, too. He won't throw you out. The Marquis held his right hand in the air as if swearing an oath. I won't. See? Come on, you're invited now. You're my special guest. There's plenty of food inside, too, Rosa. Please help yourself. Thank you, sire. Well, that was actually rather sweet of him. And surprising. I think this is a good place to cut it off for now, though, just because, well, we actually got a little bit of a happier note on this. The fact that the fancy Marquis is like, screw these aristocratic bitches. I'm going to be nice to this poor girl who doesn't have much, so I think that's a sweet, nice little way to kind of break it off. And we finally got a name for our strange little rose girl, so curious to see what's going to happen next. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching, and have a fond farewell.